This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We are going to talk about bass fishing. Recorded show today. It is Monday, April 6th. Headed back from Easter weekend in California. Hope everybody had a safe, happy, healthy, family-filled Easter weekend. But we couldn't let too much time go before we revisited the Tennessee Tom Bigby Waterway. And I talked to a couple of guys who fished this tournament, and they said, like, okay, it took less than 60 pounds to win, which is less than 15 pounds a day. And they were like, what you don't understand is like 11 pounds was like not easy there. Like I fished, like I talked to a couple of different guys and they said like, I fished good. I had a good game plan. They were like, the weights that came in were astronomical for that fishery, for as much pressure was on it. And, you know, there was an open that was at that venue last year. And I talked to a couple of guys and they were like, dude, it's kind of like a mix between the Arkansas River and the Red River. But then you have like some fish that are like a little bit like Ross Barnett size in it, but you have to know the fishery and there's like 4 or 5 guys that immediately come to mind, especially no scope. One of those, of course, is Jason Christie, who has made a career out of this type of stuff. I mean, if you watch him throw a spinnerbait, I was actually on the water last week with Kyle Patrick, and we were throwing spinnerbaits in really muddy water just on a little pond by the house, and we were casting them, and it was windy, and he goes, dude, have you ever seen Jason Christie roll cast a spinnerbait? And I was like, yeah. He's like, how does he make that look so cool? He's like, just like that little roll under flick. And then he got close to the bank. He goes, and he never even casts like more than like 20 feet. It's always just like whoosh. And then like 2 cranks. And I said, yeah, dude, I said, that's what he freaking does. So Christie wins it 58-2, Tennessee Tom Bigby Waterway. A literal story of first to last place. I know he's done a bunch of these podcasts already. You could check him out on Mercer and a number of others. But Oklahoma's own, back in the winner's circle, is 9th victory with bass, and on a fishery that I don't think was much of a surprise for anybody. So, Jason, I know you've been doing a bunch of these. You're home, your boat's in the shop getting fixed. You have a derby on the home pond coming up in a couple weeks, a holiday weekend this week. Can't thank you enough for taking some time to jump on BTL.
Anytime. I've been busy since I've gotten home. I actually drove straight through after the weigh-in Sunday, got home at 1 a.m, slept till 6, and I was like, I got a list of things I need to get done. And I came out and did about 10 minutes worth of work and hit the wall, went back, piled up on the couch, and today I finally started getting my energy back some. But busy, and which is good, and ready and raring to go for the Arkansas River.
You did this win in probably the most Jason Christie classic way possible. Flip a bait, swim jig, spinner bait. Heading into this event, when you're tying your stuff up the night before the Derby and you look down and you saw those staples on your front deck, which is kind of what got you where you are today, how you cut your teeth, what you're known for, those 3 baits. There was like a couple years of FLW where you really liked that Flash Mob Junior, but that seems like decades ago.
Right.
But those 3 baits, did you look down on that and be like, were you like, these guys are in trouble this week?
You once those baits are tied on and they're laying on the deck, I just have a lot of confidence, especially around the spawn. That just I don't know. I was asked for me to pick the perfect conditions to fish a spinnerbait to win an event, and it's pretty much what we had at Tom Bigby. I would have probably wanted the water to be a little bit colder, but those two cold fronts that we had come through, or the one cold front, it helped a lot. It kind of knocked those fish back some, and yeah, anytime I have those baits out, I really feel like I have a good chance to catch some bass. And like you said, that's how I grew up fishing. And it's special. I mean, it's special to win anytime. But when you win, on a spinnerbait that you've designed from top to bottom, and a swim jig that, I mean, I've spent. I'd like to clock the hours of the amount of time I've spent throwing a swim jig, which a lot of these other guys have too. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was really cool to do all of that.
The baits, you had the covert. Now, single Colorado, correct?
Yep.
That's a vintage Jason Christie move, made popular in one of the Grand Lake classics back in the day in the cold. I mean, you'd thrown it before, but that was kind of where you broke out the big thumper with the big trailer on it. I had this discussion on the show earlier this week. Like, the way I understand it, like, it's not like you had some water to yourself, but there was a lot of people in the area. Like, it was a fairly pressured area where a lot of your fish kind of came out of.
Actually, it was a backwater.
Yeah.
It kind of divided by an underwater sandbar / point, and I really stayed on my side. Seth stayed on his. I was the only one. We were the only two guys in there, and I was the only one on my side, and that really helped me because I was able to manage how things went. I really wanted to fish super, super slow whenever I made a pass around that, because my thinking is if I went really, really slow and quiet, I would really work the cover good. But the most important thing was I was giving them a couple hours rest, between each pass that I made, hoping that a female would pull up. I kind of, in my mind, when I was fishing that, it was a lot like a Florida event. I would get some bites. I'd actually see them come up and get my swim jig and stuff and I wouldn't set the hook, and they were males. At times I probably needed them. At times I didn't. But my thinking is, gosh, I got to leave some of these males up here in order to attract some females. But yeah, that was my thinking, is give it some time to rest. Hopefully one of some of these females pull up, and that was the deal. You would catch a 2-pound male, and all of a sudden, boom, it'd be a 4-pound fat bloated female. So there was just enough still moving up that I was able to catch enough to win.
Interesting. And also the interesting thing was you kind of, I don't know, you'd say stress-free, but like you were kind of surprised that no one made a run at it on the final day when you came in. You kind of had 16-10 in the middle of this tournament, and then bookended it with 12.5-pound days. But one of those things where you really didn't think you were in it for the win until you came in and started realizing what was kind of happening around you, and you've been there enough to where you're like, oh, if this guy's taking pictures of me and this guy's asking me this and they're putting me here, then that means good things may be happening.
Right. Leaving the dock that morning, I really thought that 15 pounds would do it. And, for most of the day, I was hovering around that 10-pound mark. And it wasn't until like 1:30, 1:45 that I made a big call and got up to 12 pounds. But still, going in to weigh in, I did not think that I had a chance. I just thought with 10 guys out there, everybody being able to kind of fish where they wanted to, that somebody was going to catch a big bag. But then you go back and look at, the results from the Open and stuff, where I think the winner didn't even catch a limit on the last day. That place is really cool to fish, but you can see the pressure get to it. and that's what happened the last day. Luckily there was a couple, big bags, or I should say good bags, weighed in, but they were by people that were on down in the standings and not, Seth or somebody like that. I was fortunate. That happened.
You've been to 10 Killer a couple times before that. There's been some tournaments on that, but when would you say that you could recall the last kind of major tournament that you would consider a wheelhouse event like this one? Like something that you like, the baits that you like, setting up with the conditions. It seems like you just don't get. It seems like this used to come around a couple times a year, and now it seems like it's like once every 3 years that these stars lie. Am I wrong in that thinking? Or maybe in my head it seems, but it just seems like 8, 10, 12 years ago there'd be like shallow water power fisheries on stuff where you grind out stuff and it's like these 5 guys are going to catch him, and those 5 guys freaking caught him, and then it just hasn't been like that for the last 3 or 4 years.
It seems like what you're saying is correct. Like they're a lot more spread out. I really thought the Gunnersville event was going to set up like that. The issue that I had was the water was just so clear. Like they really didn't get up there like they would if the water would have been dirty. But, thinking about it, it's been a while. I mean, gosh, I don't even recall the last time. Maybe the last Grand Classic where it was, it was kind of, but nothing like that. I mean, the Sabine obviously would probably be the last one where it was just right. It's been a while. It's been too long. I know that. I need more of these style tournaments where, it's not a slugfest. It's pre-spawn. We got some dirty water, and that's whenever it seems like it works out. Santee Cooper last year. That was the last time that everything was just lined up perfectly. I mean, I couldn't have drawn better conditions for a spinnerbait event than what happened on Santee last year. That was just everything was perfect. So
that was the MPFL. Yeah, where you're just absolutely you knew you'd slow roll that spinnerbait past it and it would just freaking crush it.
People have, goosebumps just went all through my body when you said the word crush. You have no idea how they hit a spinnerbait. And then, I've caught a lot of bass in my years throwing a spinnerbait. And typically, when you get a hold of them, you're looking for 4, 5, 6 pounders. I mean, these were 7, 8, 9 pounders. I got a hold of one that I thought was over 10. And it's just different. Like when you hook them, you don't turn the reel. You just hang on for 6 or 7 seconds, let them do what they're doing, and then start working them towards the boat. But that was a bite that I can picture it like it happened yesterday. I mean, you slow roll it and the line just jumps like a buzzard flew into your line. I mean, it's just wah. And it was fun. I love catching them on spinnerbait. I love catching them any way I have to catch them, but spinnerbait, there's just a lot to it. And whenever they're that big, golly, I mean, I probably never leave Oklahoma, but if I did, I'd be living somewhere on the banks of Santee.
That's fair. Does this win put more or less pressure, or are you impervious to pressure with what's coming up at the Arkansas River here?
Yeah, dude, I'm so ready for this event. Like, I'm not saying that, I'm going to win, but I spent a lot of time out there just before cutoff. And then you think about all the time I've spent growing up out there fishing. That's where I learned to throw a spinnerbait, a swim jig, a frog, all of that stuff. And this takes a little bit of heat off, not so much to get a win, but, the previous event at Lake Martin, I did terrible. And I just have to get back in the Classic. I mean, that's my number one goal. And I'm back to the good and the points with that win. And I'd like, the goal for me, seriously, on the Arkansas River is just to come out with the top 10. I'm not saying that I'm laying up by any means, but if I leave Arkansas River with the top 10, it's a win. I mean, there's just so many variables in that event that can affect the outcome. You're one, there is a lock between a lot of water and weigh-in. You are one stump away from not making it to weigh-in. These guys are good. They're going to find the good stuff. I noticed it in pre-practice. I mean, there was guys spinning around. They're going to find the good stuff. They just are. And you just have to outfish them. But it'd be really cool, to get one at the house. It's been a while since I won in Oklahoma, and it'd be cool to get one in front of everybody doing it that way. So I will be on my game for sure in that event.
You mentioned it a little. One of the big changes that Bassmaster made this past year was go from a no info once the schedule was announced to a 30-day no info rule. If you know anything about the Arkansas River, you know that it's hard to just dump your boat in and know where the suckers live there.
It's impossible.
Okay.
It's impossible it's impossible just to learn to navigate that thing in 3 days, much less figure out where the fish are. So yeah, that's all I want to say on that.
Then I won't even ask the question then about how much the question. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Has anyone else in any of your past podcasts broached this subject yet?
Yeah, we actually talked about it last night.
On Mercer's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask it.
I would venture to say that you were not elated with the change to the 30-day no info rule as opposed to when it was initially announced, because a home field advantage on a place like that is massive as compared to, past several wrapped trucks and boats not from the area that were 35, 40 days out from that tournament that were headed there to practice. No purchase, no barter or anything, but do you think that kind of cuts down a little bit on your home field advantage having the 30-day no?
Yeah, it cuts down a lot. I mean, and it's not, it's the same for everybody. Mm-hmm. We go to Lake Murray. Patrick Walters, who I guess fishes there a lot. There's going to be, the same thing's going to happen. First of all, there's two things I want to say about that. First of all, that was not Bass's decision. That was voted in by the anglers. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I believe that if you're a pro angler, then you ought to be able to go anywhere in the world and find your own bass. I just believe that. So that's all I want to say about that.
I like it. I'll ask you this too, and I would never typically do it, but I would venture to say you also don't have to retie anything.
Yeah,
like you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty much good to go. So there are a few things. There's a few things that didn't come out at Tom Bigby that might show themselves at the Arkansas River. But like I said, the goal at the Arkansas River is to come out with a good finish, get some points, and I don't want to be greedy and move on to the next event.
Is there any? I mean, we're looking at the forecast. We're here. It's by the time of this, it's a week or two out. I mean, it's going to go down on the Arkansas River for seeing any crazy. I mean, it's not going to. We're not going to end up with a Tommy Biffle scenario here like we have been. It seems like there's a pretty good chance we're actually going to get an April tournament on an Arkansas River without a reschedule.
Yeah, we are due. I mean, we're 4 years, I think, without having a major flood on the river. And so we are very, very due for one, and it could happen. It could literally, I could see it late next week, the news coming on, hey, major rain coming next week. But I think it looks good. I think that it's going to go down there, and that I just hope, if it doesn't, please do not move the event to 10 Killer. Let's go anywhere in the state other than 10 Killer. Let's just don't go there. Just because I've kind of learned my lesson on that last year. But no, it's gonna happen at Arkansas River, and I hope it does, because that place, not only for me, but it doesn't get as much love as it deserves in the state of Oklahoma for being a good fishery. And I think after seeing the event, people are going to be like, golly, that place has got some bass in it. And you're going to have to remember that more than likely with the moon getting full, we're going to be fishing it after the spawn. So you're going to take a pound and a half off of every fish. But the weights are still going to be good.
In your mind, whether they fish high level or not, give me your top 3 Arkansas River guys. Like if you were to jump on the water, and you can include yourself in there if you weren't, but just top 3 Arkansas River guys.
In the Elite Series?
No. In the world right now. Like if you guys were to put it at Three Forks and you had the whole thing, or put it anywhere, like who are 3 guys who you'd be like, that guy's good, that guy's good, that guy's good?
Well, my uncle, Charlie, was probably, I mean, he's one of the best, I think. He's getting older now. I don't even think he still owns a boat. He would be one. Obviously, Chris Jones, who, whenever I started fishing professionally, he fished a lot with my uncle and, a lot of our little crew. Like he kind of fished in that crew for a while. He would be one. Oh gosh. And then, yeah, I think myself, I think I've spent a lot of time out there and Tommy Biffle's won some events out there. Yeah, I think that group right there would be pretty solid.
Uncle Charlie, Chris Jones, or Jason Christie.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And I'm leaving a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes right now sitting here watching this saying, well, you didn't pick me. There is a lot of guys.
Yeah.
That can
well, you can't go against Uncle Charlie, and I don't think anyone would argue with you or Chris Jones. So that's a pretty safe top 3, in my opinion.
Right.
That's like what I had Dylan Nutt on and asked him for his top 5 scopers. He put Bagshaw first, him second, and then his brother third. I said, "You're better than your brother." He goes, "Well, I just won the Bassmaster Classic." So.
That's funny.
So that's fair. 2022 was a absolutely insane year for you.
Yep.
I mean, on top of the world, multiple Elite Series wins. You get the Bassmaster Classic, Revenge at Green Pond there, the whole 9 years, whole 9 yards. But then no Elite Series wins. We talk about that crazy couple 30 racks on Santee there with the blade and the NPFL and stuff. But 3.5, 4.5 years then before your next win, and you go back and look at that, and there's only a couple tournaments in there where you're in the mix to win. Did you feel any pressure to get back into it? I mean, during that time, we're talking about that rookie class that came through, the Trey McKinneys, the JT Tompkins, the Ben Millikens. The scope really took off like crazy. The offshore stuff that was supposed to be one up shallow is being one out deep. Did you feel a big change in kind of the industry, professional bass fishing? Was there any doubt of like, okay, are we going to like get back to where I'm doing Jason Christie stuff?
Well, I think some of it, if you think about it, there's been some spurts in my career. There was the 2 years I was at the Bass Pro Tour.
Yep.
I didn't win. And then 23 and 24, I didn't win. I won in 25. This is 26, right?
Yeah.
I won in 26. But what happened after 22 is I won the Classic, something I've been chasing forever. I won another event. I really just think for me, it was just, I kind of let my guard down for a little bit. Like I accomplished a lot that I wanted to accomplish. I was really busy. We had some things happen in life that took our attention for a couple of years. No excuses, but really demanding on the family. And it was just one of those deals where, the turn, like we talked about earlier, we didn't have a lot of those get up and fish shallow events. And to answer your question, this needed to happen because you do start wondering. You're like, gosh, Kevin Van Dam said it all the time. He's like, you never know when it's going to be your last one. And you just never know. So you got to kind of appreciate it. And I appreciate, like this trophy's sitting to my right. That's why I'm pointing at it. I appreciate this one like maybe more than the rest of them because it had been a while. And also coming off a last place finish. Those last place finishes make this even sweeter. I mean, like this sport is so humbling. Like it is, you're up and you're down and you're everywhere in between. and you're just going to lose way more than you're going to win. So you have to be able to swallow it, move on, and just win every one of them that you can possible, and let it be what it's going to be. So I needed it mentally, and I love it that it happened before the river. I was kind of hoping that it might happen on the river. But I love it now that it's happened. Got some momentum going in there, and like freaking excited to go fishing.
I would imagine you're probably not a pleasant individual to be around after you finished last place at Lake Barton, that it was won by Fisher and I on a butt seat with a koiki.
Yeah.
You were probably not in a fantastic mood for the next 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, no, it is. And I feel sorry for my wife because she takes the brunt of it. Not intentionally by me, but I think everybody's wives do. We're back on track and ready to go. So.
You mentioned KVD. One of the things that's always wild with when he would win out of with his signature series hydro wave, with the rod, with the reel, with the line, with the bait, with the boat, with the whatever, everything you could. And if I'm not mistaken, this one is one of your first wins with. I mean, I would assume you're using. Was it a full Jason Christie signature series designed rod, reel, bait victory?
Matt, can we pause for 10 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely. Christie's going to run back. Holy cow, that garage is way bigger. Way bigger than I thought it was. Look at that. Athletic agility. Yeah.
All right, I'm good. My mushroom hunting buddy, Morel mushroom hunting buddy, showed up. So
yeah, we'll keep you for like 5 more minutes because if the morels are out, Jason, those things could be gone in 15 minutes. The last thing I want to do is keep you from the morels. Yeah,
no, let's answer that question. So, going into the top 10 bait gallery, Kyle is sitting there kind of overlooking it, and he starts laughing. He goes, "It's pretty cool that when you take a bait, it's a Jason Christie bait, trailered by Jason Christie bait with Jason Christie rod, Jason Christie reel." And that's what makes that win sweet, is all of those, and just the spinner bait. I mean, I get credit for the spinner bait, but that was a family 30 years design. So that's what makes it super special.
The reels too, were those your Spro, the new Spro JC? So you got one right there, right next to the trophy.
So I wasn't able to pull the rod and the reel that I want out, but because the boat is en route to get serviced today. So I was using a 5.6 on the spinnerbait, a 7.3 on the swim jig, and then, of course, an 8.1 flipping. And that's one thing I think that gets overlooked. I've said it a lot in the last few days. Spinnerbait fishing is a 5.6. There's a lot of companies that don't make a 5.6. One of the things I wanted in that MG series was the same frame with different gear ratios. So whenever I go from a 5 to a 6 or whatever, I'm not picking up a different frame. I want it to feel the same in my hand. But that 5.6, especially in the pre-spawn, it just keeps the bait down there. I can still move it fast if I want to reel faster, but it's just the right speed that I can get that bait down there out of sight. Every female that I caught last week bit the spinnerbait out of sight, and I was sitting in 2 foot of water. So it's just, I don't think honestly that I could throw one on a 6.
Really?
Yeah, if I put it on a 6, it's going to have about 3/4 of the line on it that's supposed to be on it. It's just
to make the spool smaller, so you're bringing in less line per turn.
Yeah. It's it's the little things like that that give me confidence whenever you look across the backwater and Seth's on the other side throwing a spinnerbait. You have to have, and the guys watching this that fish on the weekend series, you have to have confidence in your equipment that you're doing the 100% right thing, and you have confidence in everything. Because if you don't, it's probably not going to work out. It's just not going to work out. So, and that's why, that I've had, I caught all of the bass at Santee last year, which was, 230 something pound bags in that event, all on the same 5.6. And that was actually out of deeper water. So, the only time I switch on a spinnerbait is if we go up north and I'm smallmouth fishing, like burning a spinnerbait or something like that, I'll go to a 7 just so I can keep it up high and really move it.
And you always stick with the 20-pound string. I thought I saw you throw 20 in this, but I thought you threw 22 sometimes as well.
I do. The only reason I stuck to the 20 on this is because I wanted to get the bait down, and there wasn't really any hard cover where I was fishing. It was all, aquatic, lily pad stems, stuff like that, stuff that really doesn't worry me. And I feel like I could go fish with 20 anywhere, but 22 day in, day out gets most of the playing time. But I just felt like 20 on this was the right choice. So
sniper?
Yeah, no, shooter. 20 shooter. Yeah, and then on the
So you wind with the shooter.
Excuse me?
You wind your spinnerbait with the shooter.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the guys flip with the shooter, but you use the shooter for the spinnerbait.
I use shooter 18 for every line that I use fluorocarbon that's 18 and above. I use shooter. Now, I am playing with the new line, and I really, really, really like that. I probably would have been throwing that had I had some in my hands, but
okay.
It's hard for me to switch in the middle of the season. I have to really, really throw it a lot and get a lot of confidence in it before I just jump all in. So, but shooter, I've been using that since I've been at Sunline, which has probably been 10 or 12 years. And I was using 25 flipping, 20 on the spinnerbait, and then the swim jig is 50-pound SX1. And
which is like they've been making that stuff since like 1920 at Sunline. That's like the OG braid, right? I mean, there's 19 different types of braid, and when I saw the SX1, I was like, oh, like crazy. Is that you just love it?
I just like it. It just the way. I just like the way it handles. I like the way it casts, and we make a lot of other good braids too. I just like the way it feels. I use it on my spinning rod, and I use it. A lot of my braided. The only time I don't use it, and this is just personal preferences, I'll use FX on like 65, like punching and stuff like that. But it's simple. I've always kind of kept it simple on that line choices. So.
I will say this for those who are thinking, holy cow, like if I'm spooling up with 22, like I'm only gonna be able to cast my spinnerbait 50 yards. Sunline is true diameter. So there's a lot of diameter. So I bet if you were to take your 17, 18, 20-pound test and look at the diameter, compare it to that shooter, Sunline's typically thinner diameter, so you can actually move and fish that bait. It doesn't feel like rope when it's on the reel. I think a lot of people get confused, like, my God, 22, what is he, striper fishing?
Who needs more than 50 yards?
That's true. Did you hear when I said that at the beginning of the show when I was talking with Kyle Patrick, and he's like, my God, Christie only casts his, like, have you seen him? He just like underhand flicks his spinnerbait all the time. Like, I don't think I have ever seen you make like a full long cast on a spinnerbait. It is always very short and very precise.
Yeah, you get, I feel like if I make shorter cast, there's that first 2 feet that spinnerbait moves, I can get a reaction bite a lot of times. Like what I was fishing there was the edge of some hyacinth mats that literally had like a little 1 to 2 foot ledge, and those fish would set up right there. So my thinking was I could lay it just like right on the edge of that mat, and when it fell, I would make that thing jump, and that would trigger some bites. If I was throwing that thing 50 yards, I just, for one, it would be harder to control the bait. And two, I got to fight that fish 50 yards. So, my cameraman and I had a talk. When he got in the boat, I'm like, hey, we're in a small area. I'm going to be making, short casts. I want to be as quiet as I can. And if I had somebody in the boat that was super loud and stuff like that, then I'd probably be making longer casts. So,
okay.
Another thing too is making those short casts. There were some fish in there spawning. There were some fish that would turn the bait down, and I would be able to see them. You would just see a wake or something, and I would pull down and flip and get a lot of those to bite.
I'm looking forward to a couple weeks. I remember when you won Grand in June, you did an interview kind of midway through that event where you said if I was going to burn the house down on family stuff, you said I had made a pact with myself that I was going to do it for $100,000 and a trophy. Yeah. And by God, you did. And
I'm going to have to do that at the Arkansas River. Like that's kind of virgin waters. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on that place. And I have no problem giving up the goods, but when you give up the goods, you want to get paid for it. So
I'll also say this: if you are planning on watching it, if you want to follow you or something, this is a fantastic tournament to get an ice cold 6-pack, sit on the couch and watch it instead of try to see it go down with your own eyeballs. That's me saying it. Have a fish around on the river a little bit. Even if you are away from, you will impact the outcome of this tournament with boat pressure. So watch this one from the couch, enjoy it, go to the weigh-in, and celebrate it that way.
I advise the people that are thinking they are going to come out and follow. That would be a good time. I mean, 10 Killer would be a good time to do that. Grand Lake would be a good time to do that. The Arkansas River is one where you said you need to just watch it on live from your couch, because a lot of the places that I'll be running, there is no room for error. So you, unless you're in a tiller, you probably would just be better to watch it from the couch.
Not probably. You would be.
You would be.
Yeah, that's the only place where I think I've spent.
And it's going to be the same for everybody. Like, I mean, there's just these guys that are coming in. We've spent a lot of time out there, and there's a lot of places where you run that, there's a big stump right here. There's a sandbar right there, and you know just how to go in between them. And sometimes you miss it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can have 20 pounds at that place, and you're one stump away from not making it back to the weigh-in.
I'll close it with this. You're still the only person that I've ever seen a lockmaster open up the gates for after they started closing in that open there. I mean, those suckers were 6 inches from closed, and that would beep, beep, and there's 50 boats in there, and we're all going, what the hell's happening? And you hear, and then one of the guy goes, oh, that must be Jason. Sure as hell. There you go. Sucker. Stop the gates, open them back up. You rolled in, gave him a tip of the cap. They closed as you went in. Boom, on the way, made it with 2 minutes back on the freaking elite. That was baller. I've talked about that before on the show, but I mean, like I said, well, maybe he would do that for Uncle Charlie back in the day, but there's about 2-3 people. Maybe Ed Barton might be able to grease the wheel enough to get the lockmaster to open it up, but there's about 2 people on earth that would happen for.
Yeah, the problem with me is all those lockmasters that I knew back then, they're all retired now, so I'm going to have to get to know these younger guys.
Oh, yeah, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's have you ever been in the lock by yourself?
Yes.
So if they have the option to move that thing as fast as they want to move it.
Really?
They have to do it safely, but if you're in there by yourself, for the most part, you're pretty safe. So I'm going to leave it at that. They have the option to move it as fast as they want to move it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I was fishing at ABA, and I called the guy, and I said, hey, man, like, I had a way better morning than I expected. I know that you talked to me on this. What are the odds if I'm there? And he goes, if you're here within 11 minutes, I'll get you through, blah, blah, blah. And it did. That makes a lot more sense because I was the only guy in there. He didn't even make me tie up. He gave me the wave, and I was like, holy cow, like that. Why did that lock see? It seemed like it was like that. It was like a Florida lock almost.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And that's one thing I want to say about those guys in Mississippi. The Lock Masters were, I mean, the best, super friendly, just really, really easy to work with, stayed on schedule. That makes those events a lot less stressful when you have Lock Masters like that.
Congratulations, Jason, on your 9th win with Bass. You won a lot of stuff and setting the table for a really cool week coming up on the Arkansas River, but back in the winner's circle and solidly back in looking to win your second classic. I think you would probably like to win your second classic on Hartwell.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I bet that I would say, would you agree that Hartwell, if you were to take a lake that the fishing style has changed the most over the last 10 years, because you go back to FLW stuff, I mean, you've had some success on Hartwell and things like that in the past, a lake that over the past 10 years has changed the most, would you put Hartwell in that conversation?
I think so, but I think the reason being is it seems like every time we fish it, the conditions are different. I fished it high when there was, the regrowth everywhere. I fished it low where the docks aren't in the water. I fished it normal. I fished it dirty. I fished it clear. It just seems like when we go there, the conditions are never the same, which is what I love. I despise going somewhere the same time of year and everything's the same, because you just get in the rut of thinking about what happened the time before. So that is one of my favorite tournament lakes ever, just because it's so big. You can spread out and has a lot of bass in it, and it offers every angler, you can fish to your strength, or whether you want to go out in the middle or you want to get up the bank, you can win doing both.
I appreciate it, Jason. Are you going morel hunting now?
Right now.
Really?
It's a little dry. We're probably going to strike out, but I've been working around the house, and I got a lot of work done yesterday. So if anything, we're going to go, just walk through the woods.
Yeah, that's like, there's a couple lakes in Oklahoma, and there's always those guys who are like, I'm going bed fishing. It's like March 4th, and you're like, oh, really? Let me know that you're taking a flyer on some early season morels.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just I just grabbed that reel and ready to go. Like, I can sit here and spin it all day.
Yeah, is that Gussie's boat in the background?
Oh, it is. So Gussie drove here. He'll stay here during the Arkansas River, left his boat, flew back to Canada. There's the new jet boat next to it. The Skeeter is getting service today.
I bet you say you practiced the Arkansas River out of that jet, didn't you?
I didn't say that.
No? I don't know. Oh, can you do that now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if that's Steve Kennedy. I guess that's competition.
Yeah, competition.
Yeah.
No, that's the fun. I mean,
that's a fun boat.
That is a very fun boat. It kind of opens the doors for the Skeeter. I can go in there and kind of scope it out and know if I can get in, and then here comes the old Skeeter in. So, it's a fun boat.
All right. Good luck on the morel hunt. Are you good? Like, is there a skill to morel mushroom hunting? Like, are there guys who are like good at morel mushroom hunting, and then other guys who are like, oh, we can't go with Jim. He can't find a damn mushroom to save his life.
That's me. Like, I'm not the best at finding them. The dude sitting on my couch is probably the top in the world. Like, he understands, like, when such and such blooms and the moon is at 3/4, then there will be morels on the backside of a pin oak tree.
Is he willing to show his face on camera? I know how it is in that neck of the woods. Like, there's some guys that are like, get that damn camera out of here.
I got to keep him secret. Like, I'm just afraid somebody's going to take him away from me. So I need all the help I can.
So
get.
He's like the Jason Christie of morel hunting in eastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's what's funny is we may start off morel hunting and then end up scouting for turkeys. So you just never know. You never know where this day is going to end.
Over under number of morels today, and then you got to post it on your social media.
I'm going to say if we find one, we're doing good. Dude, we are drought dry here, which you have to have some moisture for morels.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting out of the house.
So like Red River in August is what we're talking about.
Yes. Here. I mean, like you walk through the woods, there's dust coming off of your feet. We're supposed to get some rain tonight. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see a picture. If we get some rain tonight, maybe Friday, of a pile of morels, but we'll be lucky if we find some today.
You're like pre-fishing for morels.
Pre-fishing. Yeah.
But if anyone's going to find one, it's the Jason Christie of morel hunting who's sitting on your couch right now.
That's right. He smells them. He just gets downwind and walks the ridge, and he's like an old dog. He can smell them.
You know, there needs to be a contest between you and Jared Miller. Like Jared Miller has bought land strictly for 2 weeks of morel hunting. Around Norman, Oklahoma.
I'm not that serious, but I like going. I didn't get into it till a few years ago, and it was COVID that opened up. I got into turkey hunting. I got into morel hunting. Before COVID, it was just all fishing. I mean, if I wasn't bass fishing, I was crappie fishing. So thank goodness for us, for COVID, that it kind of opened my eyes. There's other things to do in the spring besides fish.
I like it. Yeah, no, if you have a freezer that has fresh crappie, dehydrated morels in it, frog legs, and deer backstrap, you can pretty much navigate any social male-dominated setting around Oklahoma and get invited to a lot of things.
That's right.
All right, good luck, Jason. Thank you for the time. I greatly appreciate it. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
There you go, Jason Christie. They're going to find a morel. I just don't feel like there's any way he's coming off of a win. He's with the greatest morel hunter in the state. There's no way that they're going to zero. They got a lot of mushroom mojo. Take a break. We'll be back, wrap things up right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring. That's a giant, dude. Summer. Oh my gosh. Hi. Look at that thing. Winter. It's so cold. And fall. Got a big one. That's awesome. Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option. AFCO. Any fish, any water.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, the truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
All right, wrapping things up here on a Monday. Jason Christie looking to go back-to-back after this win on the Tom Bigby last weekend. Not this past weekend, the weekend before that. Had a good week of shows. Jacob Wheeler last week. Wrap things up on the regular show, and then Uncle Frank with the drop of the Bandit 100 in the camel craw pattern, I think it is. So we'll be back live in studio shows starting tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time, Jason Christie. We'll talk to everyone later. See ya.